Perfect. How are you?
Oh.
Good. We're catching you surprised, aren't we?
Well, there's a camera, see?
Yes, surprise. Hey, we want to say thank you to you. You've been nominated for being innovative this last month, and so we want to say thank you for everything you do. And here's the cool thing. You were nominated 3 times. That means 3 different people nominated you. So thank you so much and congratulations.
Hi. Hello. You have been nominated by your coworkers this month for being innovative. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're amazing. Okay, well, you have been nominated by your coworkers for being innovative this past month. So congratulations.
Right.
Yay. We appreciate you.
Thanks. I appreciate you.
Thank you for being innovative.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Hello. You've been nominated by your coworkers for being innovative this month. Congratulations. Thank you for all you do. Congratulations. You have been nominated by your coworkers for being innovative this month. Thank you for all you do. You are very innovative. Hello, Mr. Donnelly.
Hello.
We would like to congratulate you for being nominated by your coworkers for being innovative this past month.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you for being innovative.
Oh, right on. That's cool. I usually don't think of myself as innovative, but awesome.
That we did, so way to go.
Okay.
Hi, I am here for you actually. I just wanted to stop by on behalf of the Standards of Excellence Committee. You were nominated by your colleagues for being innovative this month.
Oh, thank you.
And just wanted to say a really good job. So here you go. And
So much.
the tech office is always incredibly innovative and you brought so much talent to this department. So thank you.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity to do so.
Christina, you have been nominated for our Standard of Excellence this month for innovative. Awesome job. Congratulations. Sorry to catch you on the spot.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Congrats. Great work.
I have a special gift for somebody who was nominated for their innovation and service to the customers and the service teachers, and it was you. You were nominated because you are so good at your job. Aw.
Thanks, guys.
Hello. Can we interrupt for just a second? We wanted to say congratulations to Miss Osa, as some colleagues of hers nominated her for being innovative for this last month. So we just want to say congratulations to you. We appreciate all that you do with all of our kids. So congratulations to Osa. Hello. This is a meeting of the minds right here, but we'd like to interrupt because we want to say congratulations to Miss Katie, has been nominated for being innovative and all of the work that you do. So congratulations. You can if you want. You can continue to turn red-faced and everything and be embarrassed. Yes, we appreciate you.
I'm gonna interrupt for a minute because Bree has been nominated by her peers in the district for being innovative. And you were nominated twice, and I think it's because I was shared with that you have been doing some really awesome goal setting stuff with your kids. So congratulations, Bree.
Hello. Can we interrupt just for a minute? I have something for Jennifer. Jennifer, you have been nominated by your peers in the Standards of Excellence of Innovation. No, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks for your growth mindset and all that you do.
Should I open this?
Yay.
Thank you.
Hello. Can I interrupt? I come presenting awards. I have one for Hillary and Aaron, but I don't see Aaron.
Erin, she's on here.
Oh man, but I will give one to Hillary. You have been recognized by your peers for innovation with our standards of excellence. So, thank you for all that you do, and it's fabulous. So, yay.
Erin, you have been nominated by your colleagues as a person who has shown innovation, and especially in your position as our quarantine teacher and turning something that was nothing into something really amazing. So congratulations, well deserved. And we just appreciate all that you do and the innovativeness that you do it.
Thank you so much.
Good morning, Mr. Fish. How are you?
I am good.
Mr.
Searing.
Hey, we want to say congratulations to you because you were nominated and honored this last month for innovative. And we want to say thank you for being innovative and trying to be creative as well, of trying to figure out a way to cut down on all the mud that's tracking in here from our playground. So we just want to say thank you so much and congratulations. We appreciate everything you do, man.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Yeah, surprise, surprise.
Surprise.
Right. Hello.
Good morning. I'm so sorry to interrupt this morning meeting that's taking place, but we want to say congratulations to you. You were nominated by your peers this last month for innovative. Right? You're always willing to try new things. You're always trying to do things that are new and fresh for our students. So let's give her a big hand. There you go. Congratulations. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. I am so sorry to interrupt your morning meeting, but today we wanted to honor Mr. C. Yes. Yes. Mr. C, you were nominated by Miss Vote for being innovative this last month and all that you do and your rap and just, you're fun to work with. So thank you for always being that cutting edge innovative for our students. So
check that out.
yeah. Congratulations. Yes. Yes, congratulations. Absolutely, yeah. Hey, what?
You were nominated
No
for
way.
innovation.
I have a surprise for you.
What?
You were too.
Oh my God.
Thanks for all that you do. We
thank
really
you.
appreciate you.
In March, we are going to be celebrating our 5th Standards of Excellence of Empathy, which is understanding different perspectives and care about the well-being of each other and those that we serve.
Striving to understand the feelings, perspectives, and experiences of others in order to walk in their shoes, and foster personal connections and relationships among all.
Embrace culturally responsive, trauma-informed, and restorative justice practices, and avoid making assumptions about the culture, behaviors, and motivations of others.
Become aware of the causes of students' and families' silence and persevere to further engage them.
Now that you've heard about the traits of empathy, we encourage you to look around at your coworkers and others in your schools. If you see them exhibiting empathy, please nominate them.
We'll call the Board of Directors meeting for March 10th, 2022 to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Denise, can we get a roll call, please?
Director Walper,
Here.
Director Martinez. Here. Director Berman,
Here.
Director Johnston,
Here.
Director Wheeler,
Here.
Vice Chair Shibahara. Here. Chair Rydell.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, and Denise, was the meeting properly notified?
Yes, it was.
Thank you very much. So on to item B, adoption of the agenda. So if I can get a motion to either approve or amend, please.
Chair Idell, I move to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Raise your right hand.
Motion carries.
All right. On to item C, EHS ASB Student Council Report. So we have some students here. Welcome. Come on down.
And go push up arrow.
Where are we going?
Okay.
Hey, there we go.
So this is a picture of everyone in student council. And then I am one of the student body presidents, Katie Willis.
And I'm also one of the presidents, Alexis Guarnieri.
And I'm Jake Berman.
I'm Riley Holby, a sophomore class officer.
And Jake is also a class officer.
Our mission is to serve, encourage, create thinking, and promote a positive sense of community for all members within Estacada High School and our community.
So to work towards that, a couple of things we have done. We have put on a couple of spirit weeks. We have put on Powder Puff and Muscle Man games. We just did a staff and teacher appreciation lunch this last Wednesday. We did a food drive. We threw homecoming. We've put on a club fair, and we also helped with themes at football games. And currently, we are working on a second blood drive. We do teacher appreciation posters every week. We are in the middle of trying to do a Student of the Week recognition. Every Monday in our announcements, we do like mental health tips. We just recently, a couple weeks ago, opened up the Ranger Cafe where students can purchase drinks and food during lunch or before school. And we are in the middle of a toiletry drive, which ends this next Friday. And then we have a board in the school with like current announcements to keep everyone updated on what's happening, which gets changed every couple of weeks. And we are also planning a 3v3 basketball tournament coming in May.
Our positive school culture is part of our mission. We are recognizing students' achievement in the school. We have an announcement board and daily announcements over the intercom. We do Student of the Week, and qualities are attached to the Word of the Week or the Word of the Month for the district. We have been patiently waiting to bring back and reestablish traditions that have been placed on pause due to COVID restrictions.
Some of the clubs at Estacada that we have is a board gaming club, which is our biggest club right now, and it has around 30 students. First Priority and FCA, which is our Christian-based clubs. We have National Honor Society, MMA, chess, Snow Riders, National Honors Hispanic Society, and trap shooting. Here are some images from events that we've put on. Our toiletry drive, Spirit Week, Homecoming, Powder Puff, Muscle Man, and our blood drive.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you guys for your time. Do you guys have any questions?
Yes, any questions for them?
What is Spirit Week?
So we did Spirit Week before the week of homecoming and the week before winter break, and that's where we, try to get more school involvement and like school spirit. So like, maybe on like Monday we'll have a pajama day, and then throughout the week we'll have other designated days for kids to like dress up or dress a certain way. And typically every Spirit Week we end with a Friday, like Ranger Pride or something along those lines. And I think we're planning on doing one before spring break.
Awesome, thank you.
So when you guys said you've been patiently waiting to bring back some activities and things, what kind of activities do you guys have in mind that you can't wait to get going again?
Well, assemblies for sure.
Assemblies,
that's
okay.
Definitely, it's hard to keep that many kids in there and, still have proper precautions. And
Yeah.
so that was definitely kind of, sad to miss out on assemblies. Because I remember my freshman year, I swear we had an assembly like once a month or something.
That helps with the school spirit.
Any other questions?
Good job, guys.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. Thanks
Thanks
for
for
coming.
Thanks for
I'd
being
say
here.
thanks for all that you guys do as
Yeah.
you guys and the rest of your council members. I know that you've got sports, academics, all sorts of other things, and you're the folks doing the volunteering, cleaning up after dances, and all those things, so thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. All right. So on to Board of Directors reports, and we'll start down at that end with Director Walper.
I have nothing.
Okay.
Nothing to report, thank you.
Moving right along.
Director Wheeler.
Gonna stall out here. Let's see, a couple things. Youth football and baseball are getting fired off. Will, I won't steal too much of your thunder here. Youth football, we had fittings last week. I think we had 84 kids get fitted, which is, I think, as many kids as we had actually enrolled in football last year. So normally we order about 30% more jerseys. And so if that's the prediction, we'll probably have over 100 kids and probably 5 teams, if not 6, which is scary for a multitude of reasons. But we'll have a nice new turf field to play on. Second of all, speaking of turf fields, we are working on getting that thing off the ground. Jeremiah Platt, I've enrolled my brother to help, a couple other local guys, S&W Underground, and Pat Pemberton with Cascade Mechanical. All right. Got him in the loop today. And there's somebody else I'm missing. It doesn't really matter at this point in time, but we're just trying to align all those people so that we can set a start date and actually try to get this thing moving in the month of April. There's a lot of things that have to get taken care of to lead up to that. And so checking those boxes off is a big one. And other than that, the baseball concession stand is another one that's almost there, ready for permits. So I should say the back 40 concession stand and restaurant facility. More to come on it.
Awesome. Thank you. Director Martinez.
No reports.
No report. Director Johnston.
A couple things. One is just to report the level of satisfaction with outdoor school. I have a 6th grader, and day 1 was like, oh, this is not so good. Day 2 was, this is amazing. Day 3, I mean, it just grew and grew with satisfaction. So thanks to all the teachers and all the support that's out there for outdoor school. I think the kids, when the sun came out, were able to enjoy themselves even more. So it was wonderful. And baseball, last year we were around 275 registered players. This year we're just under 400.
True.
So we have more players join. There's a lot of new kids, a lot of new faces. When we look at our list, we separate it just to see who the new kiddos are coming in, and there is a big percentage of kiddos that are new to our population. It does, similar when we talk about in school, when we talk about the growth of our school district, we are running out of space. Youth baseball is, and so, but it's a great problem to have. And anybody who is listening, who is willing to volunteer, just call me direct, and we need more volunteers. So that's it. Thank you.
And then I'll take it back. I forgot. I just want to give kudos to Christine and Mike for inviting me to the selection panel of the CMGC for the retrofit for Rivermill. So thank you for doing that. It was great to experience that process. So
Great. Thank you. And I went out of order.
that's okay.
Vice Chair Shibahara.
Sorry. I was trying to come up with if I had a report, but I don't, so I'll pass.
I was
Thank
just
you.
stalling for you. It's
Yeah,
all
thank
good.
you.
Very short report for me tonight. Last weekend was the high school solo ensemble contest that was held at Clackamas Community College. Numbers for that are down significantly. So on an average year, there's over 400 students that participate in that for our district, not Estacada district, but the district that we compete against. And there was a total of 50 there this year. So a little bit of a challenge there. We did have 5 students participate. 1 took first place in their division and is headed to state. We had 2 more that placed high enough to qualify for state and are alternates. And so 3 out of the 5 that are either going to state or qualified as an alternate is pretty good percentages. So proud of that group there. Also coming up, high school play will be Easter weekend, and I believe it is Alice in Wonderland. So I'm excited to go take that in, and anybody wants to watch, I'm sure it'll be a great show.
What's that date?
April 15th, the weekend of April 15th. I think 15th is a Saturday. So, but don't quote me on the shows. I'm not sure which dates, but check out the website, and I'm sure they'll be on there. So, and I won't cover baseball. So that's all I got. So. All right, moving on. Strategic plan pillar reports. Looks like Maggie Kelly is up first.
And these will be more updates of the departments and
Department updates.
less pillars.
Okay.
Yeah, so just a brief update this month on what's been going on in the communications department. As always, a busy month. Our projects that are in progress right now, we just selected a new website vendor. We're very excited about it. Our current website vendor as a refresher. They're just difficult on the user end. It's difficult to update our websites, and we really want them to have updated information and be user-friendly at the building levels for our secretaries and those that work on our websites. Our new vendor comes really highly recommended, and we're actually saving money annually, and I think they're providing a much better service. We checked a lot of references, and they come pretty highly regarded. So this upcoming month, we start the design process, and we'll finish up in July. So really excited to have a reliable, updated, easy-to-edit website.
Who did you guys end up picking?
We ended up picking Final Site. Yep, they specialize in school websites.
Say the name again.
Final Site, yeah. They're one of 3 big ones in the game that just do school districts pretty much. Another big project in progress is a communication campaign to support mass choice and just respect and welcoming in our schools. We know that's going to be important as we open up choice for our families. So one of our elementary schools did a fun video with some superheroes talking about kindness, just making it very relatable at the elementary level. We have a cartoon video that has a voiceover that talks about choice and how we should be with our friends as well. So, and then we have new signage that will be going up in the schools tomorrow. So just some ways to update that communication and welcome our students regardless of what choice them and their families make. We're also excited to finalize calendar rollout depending on your decision tonight, of course, and just continue to communicate that to families. And I hear that a turf field groundbreaking is coming soon, so we really just want to continue that communication process and updates and before and after photos and just get as much footage as possible. And also publicize to our community the amazing amount of savings that we're able to realize with having the community help and recognize and honor the people that are helping out with that. And then last slide, completed projects. We've done 2 Facebook Live events since our last school board meeting. Thank you, Chair Rydell, for sitting in on one of those. They've been really successful with over 1,500 views, about 500, a little over 500 on our last one that was 2 days ago, and over 240 comments. And these are people weighing in on the calendar, giving input, COVID-19 stuff. So we were really able to hear from a wide variety of the community. So always enjoy doing those. We did a pretty big compilation of calendar resources, FAQs, compiled some data, and that website, I forgot to check the stats over the past couple days, but it's been viewed over 900 times in the past couple of weeks, so it's definitely being utilized by our community. Virtual school day execution. We had our first virtual school day a couple weeks ago. It was pretty exciting to see, and I personally and our department got less calls about I didn't get the call, I didn't know what was going on than ever before. So I checked some Parent Square stats, and we have 2,100 approximately users in our system. Only 41 people didn't get the notification, and only 12 of those people don't have a spouse or significant other that got the call, and so they just ignored it. So 12 out of 2,100, so we're doing really pretty good on our communication there. And then lastly, we were able to showcase all winter athletics at our high school level and just like recognizing those kids and recognizing excellence, taking photos, live streams, video, just to keep our community involved even when they can't be there and showcase those students. I know that was a really quick rundown. Any questions?
That's quick.
That's good.
No, great to hear the stats on the Facebook Live. I know we've talked about it's been such an integral tool in connecting with the community, and the quality is that you guys are putting out is really, really good. So I left that out of my board report too, but thanks for inviting me to be there. And I appreciate the intentionality you guys have with those to make sure that it's a quality product that gets rolled out to the community.
Thank you. And just a quick recognition of our community too. They are always so on topic and asking great questions, and we couldn't do it as effectively if they didn't use it as such an effective two-way communication tool as well. So it's been great. All right.
Questions for Maggie?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Facilities with Mr. Mike Ware.
Okay, good evening. For your operations report, I'd like to start off with our capital improvement project updates. A few to highlight here. As mentioned earlier, our seismic rehabilitation project at River Mill is coming along nicely. We completed our RFP process with the CMGC and received one proposal from a firm, a local firm. We've conducted Interviews, evaluations with the Oversight Committee over the month or later in February. And the committee has decided to push through a proposal to the Board of Directors to take action later this evening. I would like to thank Director Berman and Director Martinez for being part of that process and being a part of the oversight team as we go through this. This is a fairly lengthy project, as you all know, and we'll be moving through this over the course of this year and then moving into next year, hopefully starting project right when we hit summer of '23. Buzz Reynolds Stadium Improvement Project permitting is going well. We received our approval for the 1200C permit, which is great. A big win for this process. Plans are completed. However, there are things that we're making adjustments based off findings. And we're going to talk about some of those findings here as we go through. So we're going to jump to the stadium real quick, and I want to be able to show the board kind of a recent finding that we've made or identified and noticed. So here you go at the stadium. We're able to identify in the midfield here, we have a water line, an existing water line that is present by the red line here. And that is probably about 36 inches down below ground, and that's not deep enough. We feel like we determined it is the original water line. It does serve the middle school, and so we have to preserve that water line. But what we want to do is, what we're proposing to do is make a trench about south, just a little bit south of the current line, replacing it with new at proper depth and appropriate depth. This will also serve for providing water sources for both home side and visitor side for our teams, our soccer teams and our football team. So that's one finding that we identified. It really is a critical point. We need to be able to address this first. The transition from turning off the water to putting it on the new line is actually not a big transition. It's just trenching it and getting it all done, probably a matter of an hour or so to bring back the water. So again, we're moving forward with conceptual designs. We have engineering to support this new concept. Another adjustment that we made was the location of the storm line. Initial plans indicated that we wanted to put the storm line on 6th Avenue. We made the adjustment to move it over into the parking lot as is indicated here. For a few reasons. This is a lot closer. There's a catch basin that's right here that we can connect to. If we continue with 6th Avenue, there are some additional fees. We're talking about flaggers and additional kind of logistics that we would need to plan through. This allows us to continue this project where the drainage would go into there. Some modifications need to be happened per the engineering plans, but we're overall happy with this concept. We had a great meeting today with the scoreboard installer and local contractors, just determining the location of the board, scoreboard, power, conduit, and data lines. And really just a appreciation to our local contractors supporting this and supporting the district, where we're able to leverage other community members and support to be more resourceful in this project. So again, just a big thank you to them. A few district projects, just to update, we completed the Estacada Varsity baseball field fence improvement. You can see here, it is a galvanized fence. We're very excited, happy about how the project turned out. We're working on putting some additional signage and other resources to that fence as we move closer to the baseball season. And finally, our Category 2 E-rate project, or project in technology, we just completed 2 RFPs for Access Point. If you recall, we completed access point installations at our secondary school to enhance connectivity for our Wi-Fi, so enhancing the student learning experience. We're now focused on the elementary schools to increase that connectivity. Single mode fiber at the high school is connecting all of our data closets, if you will, with single mode fiber, which ultimately gives us faster internet. So our focus to be able to improve our facilities, improve the quality of teaching and learning through our internet services, knowing that that is where we're headed with the amount of technology in our classroom is vital. So through E-rate, which is 80% reimbursed to the district, we are moving forward with that project into the summer of '22. Any questions?
I got a question on your single mode fiber. I should know this, but I don't know anything about technology. What's the difference between single mode and non-single mode?
So multi-mode and single mode. Single mode basically has no capacity, right? You can put, and it creates your internet connectivity is stronger, and that's the best way that I can explain it. Multi-mode has a capacity, and you can only do so much, which slows down your internet services as you start adding more. That's the best way I could explain it. I can provide a better one another time.
That's all right. That's good enough. Thank you.
Yeah.
About the baseball field, is there something that's some type of material so it's not exactly see-through? Or some type of center point so there's a focus when a ball, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where our athletics department is getting that equipment or that resources, supplies, and putting those on there. So we're in the process of that, yes.
Are you guys selling spaces on that fence again?
And again, our athletics department is working with a local contractor on selling spaces, not just at the baseball field, but we're talking about spaces for our new scoreboard, other signage, and working through how we solicit sponsorship. And so we're trying to fine tune that, and I'm supporting them as they move forward. So.
And I just have one other request. Can we fix that flagpole? You can't put a flag up that flagpole.
Rope is broken, correct?
Yeah.
We'll work with our facilities crew and address it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Questions for Mike? All right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
And the finance report from Christina Irish.
Thank you. Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Going to give you the finance for the month ending February 28th. The first look is at our general fund. You can see here that our month-to-date revenue is just over 2.6 million, and our month-to-date expenditures is 2.8 million. Our year-to-date revenue is 34.9 million, and our year-to-date expenditures is 19.3 million. Our projected revenue is 41.5 million, and our projected expenditures is 35.6 million. That's leaving us with an ending fund balance of 5.9 million. So any questions on the general fund?
I have a question. It might be kind of silly.
Yeah.
So, at 34.9, year-to-date,
Yep, year-to-date.
that's expenditures, right?
The 34.9.
Or no, that's revenue.
That's revenue, yes. The expenditures is 19.26.
So there's $15 million of money there somewhere, right? The difference, roughly? Where does that money sit in this time frame?
It's in our local government investment pool, so it's in our.
So it's making what little money we can make then?
Yes, correct.
That's all I had, sorry.
No, no.
I should have known that.
Great question. The next report, this is a graph showing our projected general fund by revenue source. You can see here that our state sources, or which includes our state school fund, is about 62% of our revenue. And then our local services, which is our property tax and any fees that we collect, is 7.7 million, which is 19% of our revenue. And then our beginning fund balance is the 7.2 million, and that's also 17%. This report is the exact same as the first. It's just comparing last year at the same time frame. You can see here, I circled last year, we were projecting to add back almost 400,000, 398,000. And this year, at this time, we're projecting to spend down our beginning fund balance, 1.4 million. This is our budget to actuals report. The blue is our budget, the red is our year-to-date, and our green is our year-to-date plus our encumbrance. And you can see here, currently for our instructional services, we spent 52.3% of our budget already. And with encumbrance, we're at almost 90%, which is great for this period at this time. And then for our support services, we've spent 57.9%. And then with our year encumbrances, we're about 90.5. And then just a reminder, encumbrances are our promises to pay, our contracted costs, our supplies and stuff that we've already ordered, and then our salaries. And this is also the general fund. It's by major object. You can see here, just comparing last year at this time to this year at this time, we do have a little more revenue. Most of that is in our beginning fund balance. And then our expenditures were about $833,000 more than last year at this time, which is our salaries and our contracted costs. Any questions on that one?
I do think it's interesting, on the expenditure side, supplies and materials is almost $230,000 less than last year. Was that COVID-related expenditures for materials?
And a big part of that is we did have our ESSER funds in our general fund last year, so we did do that big ESSER
Gotcha.
portion.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
Thank you.
that was all supplies. That's a great question. This is our year-to-date expenditures by major object. 30% of our expenditures are our salaries, 19% is our associated payroll costs, and 38% is our purchase service. And that includes our utilities, our contracted services, and also our charter school payments. So 93% of our year-to-date expenditures are those fixed or contracted costs. And then our capital projects, which is really important as we're going into the turf fund. Our month-to-date revenue is $14,509. Our year-to-date expenditures is $81,000, or not year-to-date, month-to-date expenditures is $81,546. Our year-to-date revenue is $2.7 million, and our year-to-date expenditures is $177,276. We are projecting to spend that down just about $2.2 million of expenditures, and we're projecting our ending fund balance to be $552,000. Any questions?
And that's just the ending balance in the capital projects fund?
Just in the capital projects, yes.
When we get the Rivermill project underway, those funds will show up in this capital, or is it a
No.
totally separate account?
We're housing that in a separate, it's in a separate so that we can track the expenditures and the revenue separately. It's a grant, so we wanted to keep that separate from the. Okay, on to enrollment. I have really good looking enrollment to share with you. Clackamas River is at 416, which is down 1 from last month, but still up 22 from last year at this time. Rivermill is at 435, which is 5 more than last month, but still 22 down from last year at this time. So that's a wash. Estacada Middle School is at 403. They also have been up 5 from last month, and they're down 4 from last year at this time. The high school is at 503. That's down 4 from last month, but up 20 from last year. So total, we're at 1,757. That's 5 more than last month, so that's really great for this point in time, and we're still up 16 from last year at this time. And then on to Summit, they also had an increase this last month. They're at 1,324, which is still down from last year, about 127. But as a district, we're totaling 3,081. So the good news I like about this, you can see on our little graph, for February right here, we're actually 1 student higher than we have been since 2014-15. So I just think that's great news. And the next thing I just want to talk about is we're getting into budget season. So here is our budget calendar. Our first meeting will be next month at 6 o'clock, and that'll be our Budget 101. We do still have 2 budget vacancies. So if you need more information about that, you can go to the website or contact me directly, and I'd be happy to share. One is a 1-year, it will be expiring the end of this year, and the other is a 3-year. That's all I have to share.
All right, any questions?
How many positions are usually on that committee?
6. Very happy we have for returning.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, next up, Superintendent's report. Superintendent Carpenter.
Thank you, Board of Directors. And I do just want to point out to all of you and those who are spectating this evening, I appreciated each of your board reports because it really exposes the level of involvement that all of you are in when it comes to the Estacada community, from volunteering for CMGC committees to being involved in all of our youth athletics, arts activities. I just want to highlight that moment that other than just one meeting a month, our executive board of directors are heavily involved in the daily operations and activities that are occurring in our school district. So I just want to praise you for that. Effective March 12th on Monday, which is this coming Monday, the Estacada School District will begin strongly recommending, however, making masking optional for each individual who is a part of our school district and system. The Estacada School Board of Directors and its superintendent has long been in support and advocacy for local control and individual choice throughout this pandemic. Our advocacy for these terms began publicly on August of the 2021 school board meeting when we sent our resolution to Governor Kate Brown. I just want to take a moment as we make this transition to extend our gratitude and thanks to our community and our employees for being great teammates throughout this process. We got to see a lot of other communities experience a completely different experience when working with their parents and community stakeholders through the masking mandates and changes throughout the entire pandemic. I think the Estacada community was a class act through the entire process. We had the opportunity to engage so many people with so many different beliefs, and our ability to work through that and allow our school district to thrive as we emerge this is quite tremendous. And that also goes to our employees as well. I feel strong about our ability to build a stronger relationship, listen to the voice of our employees, and meet their needs and make sure that they were safe as well. We can hold our heads high that our school district managed and continue to manage these changes with positive spirits. I'm also proud to present to you this evening a 3-year calendar that I strongly believe will position Estacada schools up for long-term success. This calendar represents a highly collaborative process that engaged parents, students, community members, employers, and administrators. I believe that this calendar places our students first, supports our employees and their social and emotional health in an ever-changing public education environment, and it also allows our teachers to work with at-risk kids differently and provide more partnership opportunities for our parents. I want to thank our school board for the seriousness and thoroughness in which you have taken this very important decision. You've listened to the voices of our parents, our employees, and you've asked a lot of questions to help you as you work through this decision this evening. I also want to thank our administrators who were at the forefront from the conception of this calendar and this vision. We needed them to engage with our employees, parents, and students and own the work as it happened, and I'm appreciative to our school and district level administrators in their work on that. I also want to recognize our elected union associations, both the EEA and the OSEA, as they played a collaborative role in the development and design of this calendar, up to including the conversations around contract language. Their support is appreciated, and it allowed us to work in conjunction to meet the needs and voices of our employees. And lastly, I just want to say thank you to our parents. As Maggie alluded, we engaged our parents in various different ways and had hundreds of comments pouring in about each individual's preference when it came to this calendar and its proposals. We tried our best to incorporate each and every single input into this calendar, and I believe this calendar reflects that compromise. Moving on, as we think about what next looks like for the Estacada School District as we emerge from this great collaborative planning together, we will begin our budget planning process, as Christina Irish just shared with you all. I will tell you, from your superintendent's perspective, I have concerns as the cost of living is rising, and how we're going to engage not only our local workforce in making sure that we're competitive and making market adjustments, but also to those who are traveling in what's a very expensive gasoline environment as they commute to and from other metro areas to our great community. And so being fiscally responsible with our taxpayers' funds, yet remaining competitive and understanding the real needs out there in the world to recruit and retain our talented employee workforce are going to be major challenges for us as we talk about what next looks like for our school district. As you see, we are in strong financial shape. The Estacada School District has done well with its finances and its financial responsibilities, positioning us in a place to have a good conversation with our collective bargaining groups, but still very important that we maintain the financial health that we worked so hard to accomplish over the last few years. The last thing from the legislature I want to make the board aware of this evening is House Bill 4030 that just passed in the most recent special legislative session. House Bill 4030 appropriates $78.1 million statewide for, quote, retaining employees and recruiting. Now, we don't know how much of this $78.1 million will be allocated to the Estacada School District specifically, but the intent of this bill is for it to be ultimately passed through from the state to the district to our employees as bonuses and incentives to remain in the teaching profession. So that's another conversation we're going to need to have about how that passes through to retain professional educators and employees alike into our district and into our profession, and thank them for their service. The good news is this is an opportunity to support some market adjustment as well as recognize our folks for the tremendous work they did through the fire, pandemic, and various other things, without impacting our general fund balance. Two more last announcements. The first is the Estacada School District is in the middle of a curriculum adoption. For the last 5 months, a curriculum adoption committee has been reviewing new language arts curriculum, K through 12. So these are English textbooks, language arts textbooks, K through 12. The K-8 curriculum has been now reduced to its final 2 choices. For the last month, both of these curricula has been available to the public for viewing, but our last formal public viewing will be the 31st of March from 5 to 6:30 p.m. at Rivermill Elementary School in one of the new portables. I wanted to highlight this really quickly because we know in the national news media everywhere, the selection of curriculum is a very controversial topic. The Estacada School District is committed to its transparency in how we select curriculum and what your kids, our students, will be exposed to throughout the process. We know a lot of people in our community have strong opinions about this. And so I wanted to bring this to the board's attention and to the public's attention that our last viewing opportunity will be March 31st. It is my anticipation that we will then be presenting the textbook adoption proposal to the Executive Board of Directors in April for K through 8. And we're hoping May for 9th grade through 12th grade. This is an important expenditure, and I would like to also invite the board members to be a part of the viewing too, if you so choose to be a part of that. And last announcement, as a part of my duty per policy IICA, it's my responsibility to inform the board that on April 23rd through April 26th, 52 of Estacada's students who are members of the high school band and choir program will be traveling to Disneyland to perform in front of a national audience. So per policy IICA, any type of trip that leaves the state of Oregon, it is my responsibility to notify the board of that trip. And so this announcement fulfills that policy obligation. That's your superintendent's report. Any questions?
No, I have a couple around the calendar, but I'll save those for the calendar discussion time.
Yep.
I have one question about the curriculum alignment. We'll probably get into it later when we, but, the curriculum. Is part of the committee looking at alignment to the standards?
Correct, yes. Yep. In fact, that's a main part of what we're doing. For general knowledge, because a lot of people have asked in today's world, why would we buy textbooks when everything is digital? Interestingly enough, that's a legitimate question, and textbook companies have also adapted their business model, so we pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for the electronic version. They now throw in the textbook for free.
What was the time on that, March 31st at what time?
March 31st from 5 to 6:30 p.m. at Rivermill Elementary School.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions for Superintendent Carpenter?
Congrats to the band.
That's exciting. All right. Moving on to G, reports and presentations. We have one. Mr. Ben Hargrave, come on down. The 3-year academic growth at Estacada Middle School.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for hosting me. I'm Ben Hargrave, the principal at Estacada Middle School. And about 3 weeks ago, I was preparing for a presentation that's coming up at the end of this month and doing some data crunching. And typically in my role weekly, I am down in the weeds often looking at data, student achievement data, looking for ways to come alongside teachers to problem solve instructional routines and strategies to improve engagement and achievement in the classroom. And that work can sometimes be hard to see growth. You're constantly looking at what might not be working instead of harvesting the small wins of what is working. I had an opportunity to look at some metadata over the last 3 years, and as I plugged these into my spreadsheet, I was like, oh my goodness, this is outstanding. And I wanted to share this with our superintendent as a story of Estacada Middle School's growth, the tools, tactics of improvement science, our collaborative efforts to work together for our community, for our students. So what this graph represents is assessments only, tests, and student achievement from the last 3 years. So really plainly, student achievement is increasing, proficiency is increasing, and students who are not achieving is decreasing. The good news is that we still have more growth to make. You'll see that in 2019, 2020, 38% of our students, or 38%, of our assessments measured were proficient. Right now, it's around 77% of assessments proficient. Outstanding growth, and not there yet. I'm really excited about this. This trajectory is one that I have harvested with my staff and my team about the work that we do, the intentional work that we do in our professional learning communities, the work that we do in our grade level teams, our leadership teams, our school-wide intervention team as we apply what we call the RTI model, or response to intervention model, to our master schedule. And it's exciting because it shows us where we're capable of going moving forward. Questions you guys have about this?
Good job.
Thank you.
And I wouldn't say a question, but a comment, you know, for those of us who are in the private sector, right, and you look at the growth of a business over a 3-year period of time, and what does that look like? This is even more impressive because you're adding new students every year and you're exiting new students every year. And so it's not even like you're showing this growth with all the same students. You're showing the growth from 6th grade to 8th grade, right, if you take that 3-year period of time, but you're also onboarding 2 more classes into that.
Right.
And so it's not just that one group of students as a cohort that we're following. We're showing 2 new age groups that are being brought into the school and quickly getting on path to that higher level of proficiency. So that is just another layer of impressiveness that I want to make sure gets acknowledged to your work.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that. It's absolutely a community effort. The elementary school's alignment to middle school practices, the middle school's alignment to elementary school practices, and our alignment and arrows pointing in the same direction to what's expected. K-12 is coming, the fruits are being, I don't know.
Harvested.
I guess I shouldn't use that phrase anymore. The arrows are aligning. As an administrative team, we talk about aligning arrows a lot, and we're seeing that now. Yeah, the systematization as well as like our processes is taking hold.
I thought it was, go ahead.
I was to say, Principal Hargrave, you've tried to communicate this to the community as well. I really appreciate you having as much time in front of the community and talking. And I would say, in conjunction with Maggie, there's so much more communication through Parent Square, where my children are getting accolades, and here's what you need to work on, and can you check in on this? And it's very helpful as a parent to continue to get that communication. So I think that, not that that's direct correlation to this, but I think that there's a small part of that helps in the overall flow of getting kids.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. We've been really intentional to inform families about how well their children are learning and sending those positive messages home. And our parents are a tremendous partner in what we do, and we're so thankful for their commitment to students at home, and to leverage that support is important. And we're working on doing that more as well.
I would not this data specific, but put a plug out there for families that have students in the middle school. You also hold a session about this time every year for the 8th graders that are transitioning into the high school.
Yeah.
With some really great information, right? What's the difference? What are some of the things that you need to know? And so I've had the opportunity to attend 2 of those. So I would just say thank you for doing that, because it is not only a shock just making that transition, but how classes work, how grades work. And so I would ask, I'll look at the camera, anybody out there who has a student in the middle school, please plan to attend Principal Hargrave's session around prepping to move into high school, because it will serve you and your student well.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that.
Yep. Likewise for elementary school families. In April, we have transition events as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Speaking of that, I have a question for you. Last time you were here, you told us that the percentage of students that were coming up from the elementary school were your highest volume of problem learners. How's that going? That really disturbed me to hear that.
Yeah.
How is that going, and when do you expect us to see the fruits of your labor for that?
Yeah, another great question. It's going well because we have ways that we are monitoring progress over time. And we know the standards because of the tools that we've created. We know the standards that students are having the most trouble with or that are not meeting our expectations. And because we know that, we can develop plans to help them to move forward. We have made adjustments in how we serve students who are not meeting our expectations. We developed a class called Flex, and it's an opportunity for our teachers to use quizzes and tests and the scores that students receive, and then group them by ability to target prerequisite skills or foundational lagging skills. And it is, I don't know if I would use the word disturbing, but it's definitely concerning that we have students who might be significantly behind in reading level or math comprehension ability. And to take a group of students who might be reading at a 3rd grade level in 6th grade and move them to a 5th grade level in 6th grade by the end of the year is outstanding growth. And I could pull up some additional data that I've collected that shows that we're making that progress with our students. And there is still more work to do because the data that we have collected through standardized, normed tools still says that the middle school has students who are not at the 50th percentile yet or not at the median score yet.
Thank you.
That answer your question, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I expect you will have more information in the years to come. It's, we want to see growth.
Yep.
And my opinion is that you really won't notice until the beginning of next year with the kids that are coming in from the elementary into the junior high.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. We're paying close attention to some of the executive functioning skills that our students have as well, and their development overall coming into our school. I've talked with the elementary school principals about some strategies that we're going to implement at the elementary schools to help accelerate independence into middle school. So students might not be so shocked that first week of school regarding the level of independence that we expect to have, which is exciting. A lot of great conversations are coming because of the data that's on the table.
Thank you, Ben.
I just wanted to bring Principal Hargrave's story to the board, but also to the public, because for those people who have been born and raised in Estacada or who have been a part of this community for a long time, including some of our board members, Estacada Middle School has always been a weak spot inside our school district. A lot of our families have selected to pull their kids historically in our school district during the middle school years. We have been named on watch lists from the Department of Education because of low achievement. We had a lot of staff turnover, and quite frankly, in our history, it's also where we kind of moved some of our employees that were less effective in other buildings. And I thought that this graph told a compelling story to our community that the Estacada Middle School is now a bright spot inside our district. And as you saw the enrollment report, parents are choosing to send their children to Estacada Middle School. And I truly believe that not only is that a tremendous win for our K-12 system here inside the Estacada community, but it's also a testament to the culture that Ben Hargrave and his team has built that has just developed true, authentic enthusiasm for kids who are attending that school, and that's a tremendous win. And I think that that graph right there tells that story tremendously. And I'm very proud of that, and we're lucky to have you, Ben, as a part of our school district.
Agreed. Any other questions for Principal Hargrave? All right, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on to item H, discussions. We have none. Because they're all in the action items tonight. Hearing of citizens for action items. Anybody signed up? Okay, item I. Item J, the consent agenda includes a package of one or more items that can be voted on as a unit. However, if any board member is not in favor of one or more of the agenda items and prefers to take separate action or request to the chair anytime prior to the vote, we'll remove that item for a separate vote. So we are on J1.
Chair Rydell, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Motion carries.
On to item K, for purchase with Turf USA. Oops.
Hold on a second. I think a couple folks might need to pull themselves out of this one.
BBF, per policy BBFA, Director Berman and Chair Rydell.
On the consent agenda?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
For actual conflict of interest.
Specifically J1B.
J1,
Oh,
oh, J1B,
There
gotcha.
it is.
okay, I
Thank
guess
you.
we gotta go
Thank you
back.
for that. So let's go
Noted.
back.
Sorry about that.
So before we talk about J1, according to policy BBFA, I am declaring an actual conflict of interest, and I will not be voting, discussing, or participating in any conversation for the consent agenda.
I will do the same per the same policy.
That's why
That's just for B, right?
Correct.
So A, we don't have to do anything different on A.
Technically, if you wanted to, technically, you could pull B out. I'm confident that even with their abstention, the whole thing would pass. And so if you want to just go through.
So I'll pass it to Vice Chair Shibahara. Thank you.
Excellent. And I will say all that stuff, the consent agenda stuff. So do I have a motion?
Vice Chair Shibahara, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Seconded, is there any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand.
Motion carries.
Thank you again, Denise. I appreciate that. So on to K, purchase through Turf USA.
Chair Rydell, I move to authorize the Estacada School District to spend over $50,000 with Turf USA towards the purchase and installation of an artificial turf.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Discussion?
So this is just for the specific turf?
Yeah, I'd like to bring Mike
Yeah.
Ware up here because I want to make sure that there's clarity that this isn't an open lid spending item.
Thank you for that.
The proposal that's in front of you is representing the turf field in addition to some civil site work, which is the infill required, drainage required for the turf. The work that we are completing prior to that is done on a different level and by a lot of in-kind support, but we're talking, and what you have in front of you is really just the actual turf in the infield. So the technical sides of the turf field.
So when we approve the not to exceed, we still have to approve individual expenditures over 50,000?
That's correct.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to clarify. So just for the board and for anybody else who's watching, as we go through this project, we approve to move forward with a project with a not to exceed of, I think, 2.2 million. But anytime the district spends over $50,000, it requires the board to approve it. So we'll see several of these coming through.
That's right.
In the months to come as we continue to move. So, and that's why it's worded the way it is as well, because once it's over 50, then we need to approve it.
Correct, yes, sir.
That's why the verbiage is what it is, so.
It now. I missed that over 50%.
So this portion of it is pretty much once the local support kind of steps back and the actual turf company comes in and starts putting down the fabric, all the rock, drainage, and the turf itself, installing goalposts. That's pretty much the extent of it.
Yep.
It does include, basic signage or logo in the middle, as well as lettering and soccer lines and whatnot. When we get into the conceptual design, once we have an approval, we will start talking about those specifics to, the colors and what's going into the middle, the font of each side.
Okay. Any other questions? I would just stay there because I think we got the next one coming for you, so. All right, so it's been moved and seconded and discussed. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, on to L.
Chair Rydell, I move to authorize the Estacada School District to spend over $50,000 with the GMGC proposal by Cedar Mill Construction Company.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. So walk us through real quick the GMGC by Cedar Mill.
As mentioned earlier, they were the only firm that submitted a proposal. We wanted to continue moving forward through the RFP process to evaluate and interview. We did conduct interviews on February 25th with the Oversight Committee. It was a very productive, about an hour-long questions to the firm. And after looking through their proposal, and being that we had a few individuals on the oversight that had experience with this firm, we're very confident in this firm and their ability to carry out this scope of work, keeping the district's best interests in mind, and moving forward going this way. That's why the recommendations to the board today.
Great, thank you. Any other questions, comments?
How many people were at the job walk?
Approximately 8. And we did investigate a little bit more why we didn't get a lot of response. Primarily, there were a couple firms that showed up that thought it was just a direct bid project and not a CMGC project. And then others simply was there's just so much out there that they're bidding out. And unfortunately, they just decided not to bid for this project.
Thanks.
Okay, any more questions? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand.
Motion carries.
Great, thanks, Mike. All right, on to item M for the school calendar.
Is it calendar? Oh, yeah, sorry.
I think so, yep.
Chair Rydell, I move to approve the Estacada School District Calendar 2022-2025.
I second.
It has been moved and seconded, and let's discuss. So I know there's been a lot of discussion on this over the past several months. Before we even get into any more details, I just wanted to take a second and thank the board specifically as a whole for being as involved in this calendar and making sure that the voices of the community are heard, and that we are pushing for those voices to be reflected in the calendar. Specifically, Director Johnston and Vice Chair Shibahara for all of your guys' work. The one that's proposed to us is Working Copy 2.0, which means that's version number 10.
That's
so
right.
there was 10 working copies, 9 before we got to this one. And the reason that there was so many working copies was specifically because of listening to the feedback, soliciting feedback, and trying to find a way to insert that feedback and reflect it in the new calendar. So a big kudos to the board, I would say again, and specifically Director Johnston and Vice Chair Shibahara. I would also say that all of that information gathered, we also realize, well, I'll say I realize, but I think we all realize that there still will be people out in the community that this isn't their favorite calendar. And so we realize that and we understand that this calendar does clearly reflect the overwhelming requests and desires of the community, and that's where we have to, that's the lane that we need to stay in. So, but I appreciate the community as well. We did receive communication. That communication was clear, but also professional and well thought out. And so I want to thank the community for making sure that your voice is heard so that we can do that. And there were several changes made from version 1.0 to version 2.0 that were at a direct response to feedback that we received either from families, from employees, or from administrators. And as Superintendent Carpenter said in his report, it does truly reflect probably the most collaborative effort
Yes.
that I've seen in my time here at the board
Yes.
when it comes to community, employees, and administration. So thank you, board, for your involvement and continued support of the process, right? That's what we're talking about right now is the process. So I will stop there.
I have a quick question on the paper copies we have in front of us. I think it mirrors what's on our board book. So we got 22-23 working copy 2.0, 23-24 version 1.0, 24-25 2.0.
Oh, that's just a typo.
Okay, so there's not, I'm not.
You're correct. Thanks for asking that. Yep.
They're all 2.0.
They should all be 2.0. Correct.
And then just one other question, just because I've been staring at them. There's a bunch of little numbers, like if we go to 22, it says 3 between August and October. I'm sure there's a rhyme or reason to it.
I think it's the number of school classroom days, student day, no?
I'll have to get back to you on that.
Maybe it's a cumulative.
I don't know the answer to that.
Otherwise, everything looks good.
It is instructional days, isn't it?
Maybe
And
per
when you-
semester?
And then when you get
It's not
first.
cumulative, though, it's just,
Yeah, by semester, it looks like. So there'll be 95 days until the end of semester 1.
Yeah, it is cumulative.
Yep.
Student contact days.
And
By
really,
semester.
that's irrelevant to
Calendar.
this.
Right.
This is, you're seeing some behind the scenes math.
Yeah.
We're showing our work.
This isn't the public copy, though.
Correct.
So
Final copy.
I think I just, to make a couple comments of being on the committee, that helped kind of gather feedback and review the various versions, 9 bazillion versions of this. I think that some of the things that were really important to me were, what's best for students, making sure we, take a look at all our stakeholders, but students, forefront, how do we, serve our students the best, and obviously our parents and our staff and our community as well. But I do think that was really important, that we kept that in mind as we went through the process. And I also am looking forward to us being able to evaluate in this continuous improvement cycle that we are in, the hopeful, I guess, results of this change, right? Because I do believe we have some expectations that we're going to see growth in our students, we're going to see happier staff and retention, all these things. So I'm hoping that we're going to continue that conversation around how to measure success, to evaluate that this calendar is the right calendar for our community.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed being a part of, taking information in from all people in our community, right? There were a lot of really well-written responses that were thought out from the family perspective, and I really appreciated, the time and effort people went in to provide, constructive criticism or compliments or whatever it was. To just piggyback on Vice Chair Shibahara, I think, change, measuring outcomes from the change is an important part of it, to make sure that what we're doing, although it's not any type of silver bullet, we are trying to streamline, right? There's no silver bullet to get academics from point A to point B. It's a culmination of a lot of things. I do think that this is another piece that will get us moving. Standard-based grading, calendar adjustments, they're all things that are really, and I appreciate you, Superintendent Carpenter, really trying to be as innovative as you can to make sure that the growth of our students is the top priority.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, on to item N, our final action item here.
Chair Rydell, I move to extend and approve superintendent contract for fiscal years 2022 through 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, so from a discussion standpoint, just for clarification, so the way that the superintendent contract works is it's a 3-year contract. And instead of waiting until you're at year 3 to then renew for another 3 years, every year we either approve to extend or not. So at the end of this year, if we approve to extend this, then we would just tack a year on. And so that's very beneficial from a school district standpoint as well, so that we know where we're at. It's also beneficial for the superintendent to know where they're at. But that's why every year you'll see this, and it will always be a 3-year block that's moving forward. So outside of that, we delivered superintendent's review to him today. And so appreciated the thoughtfulness that went into that from the
Yes.
board. And feel that our assessment individually, when compiled, is a very fair assessment of his overall performance and is in good standing in that review as well. And so that review would point us in a direction of approving and extending based on the results of his performance. So that's what I have. Anybody have anything else you want to add there?
For sticking around for another 3 years.
Thanks for having me.
I will say, and I think we've said it before, but the last 2 years, but the last year has been a difficult year for the school district, all school districts, all families, all people, and to Superintendent's comments earlier in his board report, the fact that our school district has not only survived but has thrived through this time. And navigated this time. If we go back to the beginning, March of 2020, we were ready to roll, right? And it wasn't perfect because we hadn't even had a chance to test it yet.
Yeah.
But that innovative thought of, again, remember back when we started, Superintendent Carpenter had recommended preparing for virtual days for inclement weather, which is not something that is typically done. That preparation then put us in a spot to be highly successful early when it came to COVID and the pandemic and comprehensive distance learning. So thank you for your continued leadership. And I think Vice Chair Shibahara said it as well, but putting students first and demanding that that's what drives what we do each and every day not only sets an example for the rest of the employees within this district, but it makes the success and the growth of the district possible. So thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Wow, thank you.
Mind if I share one more thing?
No, please.
So just in my professional business, I do work with school boards, and that's been a tough role for people to be in over the last couple of years. I do think that one of the unique abilities has been to keep this board, or at least myself, I'm sure others included, as up to date with information, so we can make the appropriate decisions and try to collect as much feedback from outside. So I would say with the concerns that other states have had and school boards have had, I feel we've been able to get as much feedback from the community so we know they're all aware of the reason why, whatever the decision is.
Yeah.
And so that's been very helpful, so I appreciate your leadership in that.
Thank you.
Anything else? It's been moved, it's been seconded, it's been discussed, it is vote time. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Stuck for another 3 years.
Count me in. I'm all in. I believe in this place.
Okay, item O, hearing of citizens for non-action items. None. All right, thank you, everyone. We will call an end to the meeting at 8:14 p.m. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching online. We appreciate you.